So picture this. You're sitting in your kid's school library. There's 10, 12 parents excitedly planning for the new play structure. They're talking about where the elements are, where it's going to go, the impact that's going to have on the school community. And then somebody puts their hand up and becomes that guy. We all know the one. One says a math's wrong. The approach has more risk than upside. Well, that's me. I'm that guy. And I'm going to be that guy again today, because sometimes someone needs to point out when the math isn't mathing. You see, I've spent most of my 20-year career working for and volunteering on boards of nonprofit charities at the local, provincial, and national level. And I realized something a while ago. The best way for me to show my compassion is to stop pretending to be so compassionate. You see, we have a compassion problem in our community. Not that we have too much, that we have too little, but our compassion is drowning everything else out. You see, our compassion is putting up blinders that are taking away the view of all the possible solutions in the periphery. We can't see the forest for the trees because so much emotional bandwidth is being taken up with compassion for those facing a problem. And there's lots of problems. We have a community in which 57% of charities are unable to meet their demands. 1 in 6 Canadians are turning to a charity for an essential service. 69% of those are doing it for the first time. These aren't just numbers. These are neighbors. These are our friends. This is our community. So we jump to action. But you see, that's like trying to stop a flood with paper towel, except it's worse than that. Because we tear that paper towel up, because you see water over here, and water over there, and water over there, and somebody needs to do something about it. And that's an emotionally compelling way to handle it. That is a move to do. But in doing that, we might inadvertently be creating more scarcity and more fragility in our system. Because you see, within 18, 24 months, many of these well-meaning, hardworking initiatives are going to stop functioning. And they're not going to do it because they're not capable, and they're not going to do it because their motivations weren't right. They're going to stop functioning because they failed to ask themselves 3 critical questions. Am I the right person to do it? Do I have the bandwidth to keep it going? And the most important, the third one, is there somebody already out here in our community doing great work that I can help? Or am I just in it for the dopamine hit of being a doer? Now you're going to say, other than the person who just clapped, that of course you feel that way. You believe in institutions, you're an incrementalist. We have grassroots solutions that you can't even think of. That's an emotionally compelling argument, but your math is wrong. When your compassion ignores the math, we take real impact out of our community. The math doesn't lie, no matter how much we wish it would. Because you're going to need to fund this program. So you turn to a crowdsource, download an app, and every time somebody donates, 2.9% of that is going to go to credit card fees. Another 30 cents of every time somebody donates is going to go to the app itself. An established nonprofit, I can guarantee you we wouldn't dream of paying more than 2.5% for that credit card fee. And we don't pay apps for the right to use their programs. And we're developing pathways to allow the donor to cover that transaction fee, because that allows people to make sure that every cent of what they donate is going to the cause they care about. Maybe you don't care about the money end of things. Maybe you just want to get food into people's hands. So you download another app. This one lets you know when you can find short-dated food at up to 50% off. We get that food. We get it in greater quantities with more reliable supplies. And we don't even think of bringing it in unless it's 60 to 100% off retail. Your jump to do is taking impact out of our community. And this work is hard. This work is really hard. Every month, 5, 10 organizations, these are new organizations, turn to us, urgently needing our support to keep their food program going. And we want to help. And we will do everything we can do to help. But that new organization, that's adding to our list of over 120 organizations in this community that we're already supporting every day. Had they substituted curiosity for urgency when they started that program, we may have been able to create more stability for those in need. And there's a place for grassroots. There's absolutely a place for startups. But when we start to celebrate small, we start to believe we need to think small. We start to wonder why we are not being rewarded for acting small. An empty fridge is not a call to action. We should be relentlessly devoted to maximizing the impact of our time and our money. Now, like I said, I've been doing this for about 20 years. There's lots of conversations that happen amongst nonprofits about how to maximize our impact. We talk. And we talk. And we talk. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about the need for someone to step up and lead. But when it's our turn to step aside, our doer mentality kicks in and convinces us we're indispensable. We talk about embracing risks, but we protect ourselves from failure because we believe we're too important to fail. So what do we do instead? We start to layer on programs. We create a mess for people to navigate, processes, intakes, hours. We create a fragmentation and we create a web that our most vulnerable have to navigate to get the supports they need. When our compassion ignores the math, we create a fractured, fragile system. The numbers don't lie, no matter how much we wish they would. And this is not about creating one giant organization, but about allowing organizations to play to their strengths. The Regina Food Bank, we're good at food. We're good at procurement. We're good at logistics. We're good at cold chain. We lack the capacity to develop deep and meaningful relationships with the over 22,000 people in our community we're going to serve this year. So here's my pitch. Before you jump to start a new food program, give us a call. See if there's an opportunity to partner. You bring your ability to connect in a deep and meaningful way with the folks you serve. You bring your programming expertise. We'll bring the food. Now, of course, we don't do that. We strip our ability to impact by doing lots of really, really weird and backwards things. We prioritize low overhead over impact. We think efficiency is more important than scale. We fear failure more than we fear stagnation. Now, I want you to take a minute and think about what you're doing in your community. And I want you to think about what you're good at. And I mean really good at. Not what the funders want. Not what gaps you see in the social safety net. Not even what you're most passionate about. What are you good at? And is there an opportunity to turn that expertise into such a profound level of impact that it drives a passion? And for that passion to attract funders, followers, and create a meaningful and lasting change. When I started the Regina Food Bank back in 2019, we were functionally bankrupt. We had two choices. Cut costs, try to slow the decline, hope for a miracle. Or we could do something different. We engaged in a series of actions that go against everything you would think a fledgling nonprofit should do. We raised salaries. We shortened our work week. We brought in more team members. We spent 10 times more on food than we had the year before. We took what limited dollars we had available and we invested in infrastructure. We stopped trying to do everything ourselves. We grew our impact by spending more, doing less, and aggressively trying to find partners. We stopped trying to squeeze donations out of grocery stores and started talking to suppliers and producers. We stopped managing our business with paper and Excel and invested in proper systems. We stopped trying to fill classrooms and partner with people who could. We came to work every day with one focus. We were not here to solve capitalism. We weren't here to end poverty. We were here to feed someone. And we're here to do it better tomorrow than we did today. And we took a good hard look in the mirror. And we realized so many of our systems were based on that same scarcity mindset. Fear of misuse, fear of waste, fear of not having enough, fear of failure. But here's the thing. When your back is against the wall, it delivers a level of clarity that you can't imagine. Because if you invest and you're wrong, you're going out of business. But you don't invest, you're still going out of business, just slower. So you invest in your people, you invest in your space, you invest in your infrastructure. If you are not looking at return on investment, those blinders are creeping in and taking away a world of possibilities. You are not going to save your way to the black. You have to invest. So we did. We made sure the math started to match our mission. And almost right away, we started seeing results. In the 6 years, we have gone from providing little under 86,000 points of service a year to this most recent year, we provided 244,000 points of service just in our community alone. We grew our donor base by 30%. Our investments in our infrastructure led to our productivity going up. We went from 89 cents of every dollar going to cause to 92 cents of every dollar you donate to the Regina Food Bank going directly to making sure someone gets fed today. And we're not stopping there. We opened Canada's first truly retail-style food bank. We are aggressively investing to make sure that same level of choice is available across everything we do. We are not doing this because it's cheaper. We're doing this because it creates better impact for those we serve. Now, could it fail? Maybe. Does it have the opportunity to transform the way we serve our community? It absolutely does. We are not looking for incremental change. We are seeking exponential impact. And we're not doing it without fear. We've chosen our fear. And I want everyone in this room to think back to that thing you're really great at. And I want you to choose your fear. I want you to pick to either fail, or I want you to fear failing small. Pick the second. What could our communities look like if we feared failing small more than we feared failing altogether? What could we see in terms of change if we stopped trying to save our way to impact and started investing in transformation? Because at the end of the day, the math is really simple. Small dreams plus safe execution equals systemic decline. But big dreams plus calculated risk, that creates the opportunity for transformation. And at the end of the day, our community demands that we get the math on transformation right. Thank you.